Hey everybody, welcome to Destroyer1320 Live. Man, do we have an awesome guest today. Mr. Cody Walker, how are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. Living the dream, take it one day at a time. Man, we really appreciate you taking the time to come on the show and promote your new song and a new album. How did you get into country music? And, do you have any advice for people who are coming up in country music, just getting started out?
All right. Yeah, just my attire tonight, I wasn't sure if we would be talking more about country music or drag racing, so I wore my fire jacket. But yeah, we'll start off with country music. Man, I just had a love for it growing up. I was singing country songs by the time I was 3-4 years old. When the teacher would ask the class, what do you want to be when you grow up? Everybody's saying police officer, firefighter, math teacher, whatever. I would say I want to be a country music star. So that's kind of, it's obviously been a long life dream for me. And then I wish I had started playing guitar earlier. So if I could give any advice on that, if you've got that kind of love for something, start early, start young. I didn't pick up the guitar until I was about 17 years old. So that's one thing I wish that I would have picked up when I was about 5 or 6 years old. I did play a little piano back then, and I still do a little bit. But, the guitar is my main instrument, and I wish that I would have been playing that a long time ago. But anyway, started singing in talent contests and everything when I was about 15, 16 years old. Doing well with those. And that's when my football coach in high school said, man, you need to be playing guitar. And so he's actually who taught me my first chords on a guitar, and it came pretty easy for me. And so then I started writing songs at that point, and then formed my first band when I was a freshman in college. I was 18 years old, and formed my first band called Backwater when I was 18 in my freshman year of college.
Nice. Yeah, that's oddly enough, I've been a drummer pretty much my whole life. I was about 30 something years. I was in a couple different bands myself, and yeah, it's so much different. Yes, practicing your instrument, but when you get with other people and get the energy that you feed off of them when you're really in a band, it changes everything about being a musician or wanting to be a musician. At least it did for me.
It really does. And the band I found, or they found me, I don't know how that worked really, but it was a bunch of older gentlemen. And I grew up on pretty traditional country, Hank Williams, George Jones, Merle, all the old traditional country. And these guys were used to play backup, some with a bunch of rock bands, bunch of old Southern rock type of music. They were big into Leonard Skinner and Marshall Tucker Band and all that stuff. So it really kind of opened my horizons to some rock and roll stuff. And so, yeah, through college, I was with that band. We played a lot of country and Southern rock. And then actually the lead guitar player passed away. This is how old they were.
Man,
he died of natural causes. And the band kind of broke up a little bit because his brother was a drummer. And anyway, that one of the members, the bass player, and I formed our next band and kept playing. And anyway, they were even more into rock and roll. But yeah, it kind of widened my horizons musically. But I still now definitely do more traditional country. But I don't mind a little rock and roll in my country.
Oh, no, that's good. That's really good. So tell us a little bit about your new song that just came out, Hell of a Road, your new video that, if you're okay with it, we'll go ahead and play here in a couple minutes and let people see what all this hype is about. So if you want to cue it up. Now, did you write this yourself or did you have a co-writer?
I had a co-writer. So a buddy of mine named Jake Green wrote that song with me. And he and I met in a bar. If anybody's ever been to Nashville, a bar called Losers. And we were just having some brews, and got to talking. And he's a songwriter. I'm a songwriter. And my dad was a truck driver growing up. And I rode thousands and thousands of miles with him when I was little on the road. And Jake had kind of a similar story. And we're like, well, Matt, it's our civic duty to write that song, and to write a truck driving song.
Oh yeah.
And so we met up, and a lot of times, in this town, it doesn't always happen that way. You get to drinking and you're supposed to get together and write a song and exchange numbers. It might never happen, but we did. We followed up on it and wrote a really cool country truck driving song.
Well, I got to say, I know it dropped last Friday, and my brother and I heard it for the first time. And man, I got to say, great video, amazing. I mean, just everything about it. In the intro, probably was one of the favorite things from a video standpoint that I've seen in a long time. So if you guys don't mind, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and set this up. We'll go ahead and watch the video for Hell of a Road. Here we go.
Me up on the telephone, say, hey, miss you when you coming home. Drive done quick, close her on the line. Still got over 800 miles. Every one run makes me smile. Closer to that single wide mansion mile. It's been hell of a haul. Down in the left lane, we'll grab a gear. Got stopped down to the road. Oh, Smokey told me keep it slow. Guess he don't know just how long I've been gone. It's been a hell of a road to heaven I've been on. And though I'm born green, 20 miles from Tennessee, and I got new shoes on, I'm coming home. Nothing's stopping me. It's been a hell of a haul to Arkansas. Drop the snow down beside me, got the hammer down in the left lane to grab the gear. Got stopped down to the road. Oh, Smokey told me keep it slow. Guess he don't know just how long I've been gone. It's been a hell of a road to heaven I've been on. It's been a hell of a road to heaven I've been on.
That's awesome, brother. That's awesome. Sorry, guys, if there was an audio issue there. I realized that somebody said something in the chat, but man, I'm telling you, I already have. Check this out. Here's a guy right here saying, "Great song." We got some fans already, man. I'm telling you, it is catchy. Man, good job. Everybody involved. I mean, you singing and everybody who helped produce that. I know it's more than just one person doing all that, man. It came out great.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem at all, man.
Yeah, it's
yeah, go ahead.
We went back and we got talking about doing the video and being a truck driving song. We actually went back to my hometown in Lamar, Missouri to shoot that song or the video. And the truck you see in that video belongs to Galen Johnson. He's a high school friend of my father's. And he bought that truck brand new. It's a 1985 Kenworth W900. And the trailer it's pulling, the grain trailer it's pulling is my dad's grain trailer. He owns a trucking company back home. And man, it all came together good. We shot that at the end of August. We had a whole plan. The video actually didn't go as planned. We had planned to do a concert at the drive-in movie theater that evening. And we had about 100 muscle cars that were going to come out and be the audience at the drive-in movie theater. And about 10 a.m., a big storm came through, really pretty bad storm. It wasn't a tornado, but it was really strong straight line winds. Damaged several buildings in town, blew a bunch of trees over, knocked the drive-in theater out of power and knocked some trees over and whatnot. So we weren't able to actually do that evening. And so we had to kind of adjust our plans a little bit, but we ended up out at the airport, a little municipal airport in my hometown. And so that was cool. We ended up doing a little different, but we got to make some passes with the Dart and my buddy's 57 Chevrolet down the tarmac there. So
that's awesome. And didn't you say the cops were there when you guys were making passes and they didn't say nothing?
Well, so they were actually there when we showed up at the airport. We didn't technically have permission to be there. So we just kind of showed up to see what would happen, and they were already there. And so we went and told them what we were doing. And they said, hey, as long as you don't plan to race those two cars, which
no,
we did.
We'd never do that.
Anyway, they said, yeah, you're welcome to shoot the video there on the tarmac. And as the night went on, they became a little more familiar with us and, were a little more friendly. And before long, they were coming up with ideas. They're like, well, what if we were chasing you down the tarmac? And we're like,
right.
yeah, there we go.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, we had a good time.
Well, hey, I got to say, well, first of all, there's another comment here saying, hey, come to AZ and we'll shoot it again with a bunch of muscle cars. So you ever get a chance to do a video out in AZ, man, you got open arms out here, brother.
Yeah, it's man, being a part of the drag racing community, as you know, doing drag week and race week. And we've got a lot of friends that have seen that video and they're like, why didn't we get invited to do burnouts? And so everybody's like, you need to write a drag week song or a race week song and we can all be in it doing trailer burnouts. And so.
Oh man, that would be epic, dude. I'll help in any way I can. I'm telling you that. Well, before we move on to the race week stuff and how we met and what your other cars are, I wanted to do something. I wanted to say cheers, brother. Let me get my camera here. Grab yourself a beer.
Oh, Coors Light. Look at
Cheers.
that.
Cheers, man. Awesome. Can't wait to see where this thing goes. Cheers to everybody watching too. We really appreciate you guys joining us. And anybody has any questions for Cody, please leave it down here in the comments. Monday Morning Racer says, better to ask forgiveness than permission. I agree.
Yeah, that's kind of what we were told. I won't mention any names, but I called a few people and they're like, yeah, just go try it. So.
Oh yeah. Well, hey, let me go ahead. I have another clip here. Now, people may not know this, but first of all, the 71 Dart that is in that video is actually one of your cars. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's my car. It got me back into drag racing. I drag raced when I was in high school a lot. And I've always had something kind of fast, but that car, it's a 71 Dodge Dart Swinger. I live here in Nashville, Tennessee, and I would go to the store and that car would be parked, not necessarily for sale, but it would be parked at this certain spot. And I always wanted it and would always mention it every time my wife and I would go to the store. And then finally one day it showed up with a for sale sign on it. And I ended up trading a Ram Charger. I had a 83 or 4 Dodge Ram Charger, 4-wheel drive. And I traded the guy straight up for the Dart. It had a 318, the puny rear end, had a 7 1/4 rear end, a 904 torque flight transmission. It wasn't too fast, but it ran great, had rally wheels on it, and it was fun from day one, you know. So I love those cars that you can buy and just start enjoying, even if they're not fast. Yeah, at least it wasn't a basket case. And I think we threw some drag radials on it and ran like low 15s in the quarter mile starting out.
That's
you know,
good. Those darts are pretty light, so it don't take a whole lot of power to get them moving. I remember.
Yeah, so it wasn't great, but it was fun. And I started building a junkyard 360 Magnum for it, a 5.9 liter Magnum motor that I got out of a junkyard. I was on a pretty tight budget back then, but built that engine while we enjoyed the Dart with the 318. And then we swapped in the Magnum engine and swapped in an 8 3/4 rear end and ended up getting it down into the 11s. It would run in good air. It'd run like 1170s. So wheels, pretty stout little car with that little junkyard engine, which funny thing is that little junkyard engine is still alive. It is now in my buddy's 73 Barracuda.
Ooh.
And he drives that thing everywhere and races it some, and little junkyard engine's still living. But I did drag week my first year in the Dart in 2017. We knew we wouldn't be competitive, but we just wanted to go and try it. And that was with the Magnum engine. I think it was hot and we were running, you know, right at low 12s. And we had a blast, met a bunch of cool people and got hooked on it. And so that's when we're like, okay, we're going to do drag week again, but now we got to go faster and, you know, try to figure out how to win our class or at least be competitive. And so that's when the Dart started getting faster, was after drag week 2017.
Nice. And then, so that must have parlayed or grown into the car you currently took to race week that I'll show a little clip here in a couple minutes. But how did you end up with a Challenger? And what Challenger you got? What's all done to it?
Got a 2019 Challenger Hellcat Red Eye wide body. So it is the Red Eye. So it's got the Demon engine, transmission, rear end, all that good stuff. It's a wide body car. That's basically my dream car. And, you know, we're doing a little better off financially now. And so my wife wanted me to have my dream car, and that's supposed to be my daily driver. It is my daily driver. But, of course, we decided to do race week in the Challenger instead of the Dart. We normally do these drag and drive events in the Dart. And we decided, since drag week got canceled, we would do race week in style and take a little bit more of a vacation with air conditioning and that car. And so we started turning the Hellcat up so it would run 10.0s. So we were hoping to win our 10.0 index class at race week this year. And trouble struck the first day, I guess it was. Yeah.
Yeah, in Tulsa, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were in Tulsa. We were going to be the first car down the track, and we were in our burnout, and it broke the blower belt tensioner. So I didn't even get to make a pass. So our hopes of more of a vacation type drag and drive event were down the toilet already. So yeah, that's racing for you. It never goes how you plan, especially at one of those events.
No. The nice thing about it is, and from this was my first race week. By the way, I met Cody at race week. You'll see the Challenger that drew me to him and to get to talk to him. But everyone there it's like a big family. They don't have to know you. They don't need to know who you are. They are willing to chip in and help out. Doesn't matter if you just need a water or a coat. They're just an amazing group of people. Anybody who's not attended one, do yourself a favor and go do that. You feel the same way?
Absolutely, yeah. We've done drag week now, 17, 18, 19. We were signed up to do drag week 2020. And then it had to get canceled because of the pandemic. And then that's what led us to do Rocky Mountain Race Week this year. And they're all the same. You just find great people. I'd say the crowd that shows up at those, you get a little bit different caliber of drag racer too. You don't only have to build that car to go fast. You got to build it to withstand the drive you're going to do and what you're going to put it through that week. And it really is a test of man and machine both. And that's what drew us to the event. And we love it. We're still really good friends with a lot of people that we've met from the first year we did drag week. And we're going to keep doing them. This year or next year, 2021, we plan to do race week 1 in June with the Challenger.
Okay.
And then drag week in the Dart if they have drag week, and if not, we'll do race week 2 in the Dart.
Oh,
so we're wanting to get 2 drag and drive events in this year, one with the Challenger and one with the Dart.
Awesome. It's so cool. I'm going to go ahead and pop up a little video of the Challenger we keep talking about. And if you haven't seen it, I already have I have clips of this thing ripping down the track. Go to Destroyer1320.com. You can go ahead and see there's a couple different clips on there with you on it. Probably day 2, 3, and 4. I think you're on those. But let me go ahead and pop up this thing here. Hit my share screen. All right, here we go, guys. Check this out. This is owned by a guy named Cody. Super great dude. He runs in the 10.0 class. He ran a 10.04 last night. Problem is, when he went to race at Tulsa on the first race, car busted in the burnout box. Didn't have time to get it fixed and complete the track. So he's out of competition, but he's still running. He ran a 10.04 last night. This is one bad mother. Yeah, so that right there, just so you guys can see, that's the car he runs, and man, it was impressive to watch that thing go, especially because the only thing you've really done is the underdrive pulley, right? And
no, so I've done the 10% underdrive bottom pulley. I've done an upper pulley, a 285 upper pulley, bigger injectors. What else? Ported the blower snout. So we've done a little bit to it. In the heat in Bowling Green, when I first got the car, I put drag radials on it, and it was bone stock red eye. Only the drag radials. That's it. It ran a 1094 in Bowling Green bone stock. And then we've had to add the power to get it down into the 10.0s in the heat like that. But yeah, the car's been 990 in Bowling Green right there before race week. But that's why we chose to bring that car to race week instead of the Dart. The Dart's on a little bit older technology. The Dart can run right in that 10 flat zone, but you don't have the tunability that you do with that Challenger. We can plug our laptop in, carry our laptop with us, and we can go from 990s to 1020s if we want, all based on the tune at the push of a button there, in between passes. So we just felt like we could be more competitive in that 10.0 index class with the Challenger rather than the Dart.
No, that's awesome, man. So what was your favorite car when you were out there? That's obviously not yours, but when you were at race week, what was your favorite car to watch go down the track?
There were a lot. It's hard to pin down just one. Man, I want to go faster eventually, so some of the faster cars really intrigued me. There was a white Dart. It was a 67 or 8 Dart 5-speed car that was running in the 9s, had dog dish hubcaps on it. I talked to the guy. I think he's an old drag week guy, really nice guy, but
Michael,
that car was impressive, being a 5-speed car, stick shift, going into the 9s. But I always love to watch Finnegan, Blasphemy. We've got to know some of those guys a little bit through drag week, and I wish he wouldn't have broke, that first day in Tulsa. But
yeah, that's a rough one. Anybody has any questions for Cody, whether it's drag racing, whether it's country music, please let me know. Yeah. So is there anything else that from a music standpoint, when is the album coming out? When is your next song coming out? And please drop, if you're going to be live somewhere playing, if your Instagram, all your information, how can these guys go and check out Cody Walker?
Yeah. Thanks for doing that. So it's Cody Walker Music on Instagram. Also Facebook is Cody Walker Music. I've now got a Cody Walker Music website, www.codywalkermusic.com. The next single, we're working right now on planning the music video for the next single. So I really can't put a date on exactly when it will be, but if you keep an eye on the Instagram, Facebook, you can definitely catch it there, or the website. We'll be promoting it probably a month before it actually comes out. So we are in the talks of where and exactly what single it's going to be next and what video we're going to do. We've got a bunch of ideas. I can tell you I'm working with the same guys that shot that video, and they're awesome. It's Midtown Motion here in Nashville. They are great guys, a lot of fun. They like to kick back and drink some Coors Light every once in a while as well. And so we always just have a blast shooting those videos. It doesn't really seem like work. It's more like fun. And I won't say what we're planning for the next video, but it's going to be pretty cool.
Nice.
And as far as the EP, it'll be a 6-song EP. So it'll be Hell of a Road, our next single, and 4 other songs. We think sometime in 2021 we'll drop that. We're going to let Hell of a Road kind of do its thing in our next single. And then we're trying to time that for when I'll be able to actually go out and start playing shows again. I am playing a songwriter round tomorrow night in Nashville. If anybody's in Nashville at Tin Roof, it's called the Chasin' Melodies songwriter round. So I do play a few of those things around in Nashville. There's been some bars that are working through the COVID restrictions and staying safe and all that and keeping their social distancing and all that. So playing a show tomorrow night, but we're really hoping to get to actually do some touring in 2021. And so we're trying to time the release of the full EP around when we can start actually going out and playing a lot of, bigger live shows.
No, that's awesome, man. So I got a couple questions here. One is from 815 LSX Swap. I always like to know what got people into cars and how old were they when they started getting interested in cars?
All right. Yeah. Thanks for the question. So just like country music, I was getting into cars when I was 4 years old. My dad was a gearhead growing up. He raced cars when he was younger. Still had some fast cars growing up when I was growing up. So yeah, with me, music and drag racing have always been like this, which is strange because it's not something that really necessarily goes hand in hand. But for me, that was my 2 biggest passions were fast cars and music. So
and ladies.
I've been in it all my life. We didn't grow up with a ton of money, and my parents told me, we know you want a cool car when you turn 16, you're going to have to go out there and work for it. So I worked on a farm. I worked for my granddad's auto shop, sold chickens, sold cattle. You name it. I was a little hustler when I was growing up because I knew I had to have the money saved up to buy my first car. And I bought when I was 15 years old, I bought a 1989 IROC Z Camaro. And that's really what got me into racing. I raced that both on the street and at the track. And I just did it was a 350. It was a 5.7 car rather than the 305, but it was pretty quick. And I did all the bolt-on stuff, did headers and all that good stuff. And I had that thing fast for back then. And people would come from neighboring towns, looking for the blue Camaro, trying to race me, so I'm just like music, I guess. I've been in it all my life pretty much.
Awesome, man. Yeah, it's interesting to see exactly like 815 LSX Swap said, how people get into certain, into cars, into whatever it is they're into. We have another one here from Monday Morning Racer that says, who are the artists that you've styled yourself after?
Yeah, the influences Wow, it's a long list. But like I said, I grew up on really old country, Hank Williams, Jimmy Rogers, going way back. But all the Outlaws, and then I was really into George Strait when I was young. And then as I got a little older, discovered Dwight Yoakam. I don't know. In that video, you might see a couple guitar moves that might emulate Dwight a little bit there. And, but yeah, just, all the early country on up into the 90s. It was probably mid 2000s where country music really started to lose me style wise, with just started to turn a little different direction, and I never would turn that way. And so that's, I guess, a roundabout way of answering your question there. But man, it'd be hard to list out just one artist that's my favorite, but there's a whole handful of them that I grew up listening to and that I continue to listen to.
So is there anybody that people would never guess that you listen to when you're in the car by yourself and no one's looking? Are you in there singing some song that you're not too proud? If somebody else got in the car, you'd turn it off. What's that guilt song? I know I got a few.
If somebody got in my music and saw what I listened to, there's probably a lot of people they've never heard of. But as far as that song everybody's heard of, that band that everybody's heard of, it would probably surprise people that I was a big Nirvana fan. I even cover a lot of Nirvana stuff, or used to. I was a big Kurt Cobain guy.
Nice.
That would probably surprise some people. I like some heavy metal type stuff, but I always go back to the roots and the traditional country.
Yeah, and I have to agree with you with country music and where it's headed. It's just got a little too contemporary for a while there and lost, like you said, the roots of country music. I mean, you're supposed to play it backwards and get your dog back, get your job back. Everything's supposed to come back to you. So there's something to be said for that. I know a lot of truckers are going to absolutely eat up what you're doing. And I've sent it out. I have a bunch of friends that do trucking back in Rockford, Illinois. So I sent that over to them and they're like, man, this is absolutely awesome. And I also got some truckers that became friends of mine because we were friends of the channel because of the drive for race week. I'm driving along and I'd get a thing saying, hey, trucker Bob or whatever his name was, just subscribe to you. And I'm like, look around. Yeah, there's trucks behind me looking at the sticker in my window. And yeah, I'm sure they're going to truly enjoy that. What do we got here? 815 LSX Swaps, Kenny Rogers and the movie Six Pack. Country music and racing. Oh, yeah, dude.
I need to watch that again. It has been years since I saw that.
Years, man. You're a young guy, so it can't be that long.
Well, getting up there.
It doesn't get easier, man. Every day, especially with all this mess going on in the world, it's testing all of us. But I know we all got this.
Man, speaking of movies, one I always watched and loved was American Graffiti. I think any car person really should know that. And that's got a lot of good music. It's not country music, but old, rock and roll music and really cool cars. That got me into shoebox Chevys. I would love to own a 55 Chevrolet someday.
Those are
two-lane blacktop.
The coolest ones ever made. Yep, 2-lane blacktop. My brother just said, let's see here, Dan IT guy. He said Eastbound and Down. Like,
oh yeah. Jerry Reed. I am a big Jerry Reed fan also, as far as his acting and his music career. When I got a ball cap on, I've been accused of looking like Jerry Reed, which I'm fine with.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's crazy. So there's been a couple of things I saw on the internet. The Bo Duke is continuing stuff going on with Dukes of Hazzard, and he's coming out with his own short movie where he jumps a Hellcat over a river. Have you seen anything about that?
I was on some forum and I saw something, but I didn't have time to really dig into it and see what it was about. So I didn't know that's what it was about, but I saw something about a Hellcat being jumped over a river.
Yeah, I watched the filming of it. It was crazy. You get a chance, or anybody watching this gets a chance, you got to check that out as well.
Yeah.
So what back to racing. What do you like? NHRA, no prep? What's your favorite style of racing? And if you're just looking for stuff on YouTube to keep you entertained, what is it that gets you as far as racing is concerned?
Yeah, I think I just like all of it. But as far as just, I like heads up racing. As far as doing it or watching it, that's kind of two different things. But went down to a heads up type race with the dart in Alabama a few weeks ago and had a ton of fun doing that. They weren't showing any times on the board. It was a streetcar deal. You had to drive a 40-mile loop, and then it was just you drew cards, and if you got beat, you're out. And I really enjoyed that. It was a lot of fun, just not knowing what the cars are really running and not knowing necessarily who you're up against. And the old dart did pretty well. I was proud of how it ran and made it to the semifinals, and then got beat by a Mazda Miata of all things.
That's never fun.
Yeah, you just, when you're running that quick, it's not very often you say, yeah, I got knocked out in the semis by a Mazda Miata. But no, the guy had put a turbo LS in it, had a little bit of nitrous in the trunk, and thing ran.
Power to weight, man.
But as far as just like anymore, just watching on Instagram and watching drag racing and that kind of stuff, I like the old nostalgic videos, just watching back when they were racing in the 50s and 60s. And then, man, that got me into Southeast Gassers. Yes. I don't know if you saw them on Instagram, but basically they've got really strict rules as far as your car has to look and basically, fit everything from 1967 or older. And there's different classes, and they're all 4-speed cars. And man, they're fun to watch how they launch and doing second gear wheelies. And
oh man, that's exactly where I had a live stream with Monday Morning Racer, and that was kind of where we were going with it. Is we need to get back to having a car that I can go buy off the showroom floor. When I go to the drag strip, I see a guy racing that car, competitively in every single race, and showing what those cars could actually do with just a little bit of tuning instead of fiberglass everything and $150,000. And I know that's something they need to get back to. I got a buddy of mine comes over on Sundays, and we watch exactly what you're saying. We watch the NHRA finals or nationals from the 70s, from the 60s to the 80s. And it's interesting to see how everything progressed and changed, because back in the day, they had people at the track with welders, with parts. I think it was Hearst that had a station. You could actually have them help fix your car while you're at the track. And I think that type of thing would really bring back, a lot more of the sport of drag racing itself, like you're saying.
Yeah, anytime I'm watching drag racing, I want it to be I'm into street cars. I'm probably never going to build a strictly drag car. Anything I build is always going to be street legal. That's just me. I like to, even if you're just taking it around the block or to get ice cream up the street, I like a street car. And I think that just stems from, I like watching cars run down the track that came off the showroom floor looking like that. But the top fuel cars, man, if you go to one of those races, it's pretty incredible to have your chest rattled when on the start line, and that's fun too.
There's no experience like that. Well, it looks like Monday Morning Racer is actually going to go and film a Sega event this weekend. That's awesome, man. Can't wait to see the footage from that, bro.
I haven't been to one of those races live yet, and I want to go bad. It just hadn't worked out with my schedule this year. I've been watching their schedule and where they're going to be. I'd love to hit one of those races in 2021 and learn more about it. That I mentioned wanting a 55 Chevrolet someday, so that may eventually be something that I kind of build one of these days. But
yeah, the fiberglass front end, and you can go big time with those. That's the nice thing about the older cars too, is there's parts everywhere, man. There's everywhere,
Especially if it's not a Mopar, man.
Exactly. Oh yeah, Chevys are everywhere, man. Mopars ain't easy to find, and I know you didn't have the easiest time trying to find the parts for your Challenger when that thing messed up. So,
again, you go back to racers helping racers. That's what got us through race week is that guy having a blower belt tensioner that he just took off his Hellcat and handed it to me, and that's how we got through race week. But
Well, and wasn't I'm trying to remember the guy's name. Is it Josh that had the car that pretty much anyone could use? He had a little
the Mini Cooper.
Yeah, the Mini Cooper. And if somebody
Matt Frost.
Matt, yes, sorry.
Yeah, so we borrowed it, my wife and I, and drove to this guy's house, and he had been down in southern Oklahoma racing some other race, and we went to his personal shop, and the car was still hot. The engine was still hot. He'd just gotten home, and we took that tensioner off, and he handed it to me and said, well, I'll call the dealership tomorrow and hopefully send you one. He said, don't worry about it. You'll get it to me. So he just gave me the one off his car, and that's how we were able to complete race week. But
wow, that's racer passion. That's crazy. And isn't there an option for you to be able to put like a Ford, was it GT350 tensioner or something that's a little more beefy on those things? I know there's some people that have Hellcat, so I kind of want to spread a little bit of that knowledge.
We didn't know that was a weak point, and I don't necessarily know that it is a weak point on the Hellcats, but obviously mine broke for no apparent reason. But yeah, some guys that have had that trouble are putting a GT350 blower tensioner on there. I think it's a bolt-on, and then there's some aftermarket companies that make a billet aluminum one that's supposed to be stronger. So that's what we're going to go with on ours eventually. But
awesome. Well,
and just one thing for anybody that's driving a Hellcat or racing a Hellcat, I think the big thing is not to hit your rev limiter in your burnout, which I don't know that I did, but especially don't hold it on the rev limiter in your burnout, because I think that puts enough vibration on that belt tensioner that's when they snap typically. But I know I wasn't holding it on the rev limiter, but I may have bumped the rev limiter in that burnout that first day, and that could be why mine snapped. I'm not sure.
Awesome. No, that's great advice. We have a question here from Dan IT guy who you met. That's my brother that was rolling with me there. And he said, what was Cody's favorite memory from Race Week 2.0 throughout the travels?
Well, I can tell you what it was trying to replace that belt tensioner in time to get a pass in at Tulsa the first day. That's what it wasn't. But what it was, man, at these things, I think sometimes the most fun is getting to the hotel parking lot and meeting everybody and drinking beer in the hotel parking lot once your day is done, and just blowing off some steam and checking out these different builds. Because like I said, it's a different caliber of build when you're building that car to go as fast as some of these cars go, but also make that 1,400-mile drive in between all the tracks. So I'd say it's hard to nail it down to just one, but I always love just getting back to the hotel and just hanging with all the racers and drinking beer in the parking lot. Yeah,
having some guy run up and run in front of your car, you're kind of was like, what? And I was like, dude, your car's amazing. And actually the wheels, I almost need to get the exact specs for your wheels, because those are those welds?
On the back, those are Weld RTS 71s. They're 17 by 11 inch wide on the back. And that's a 315/70/17 drag radial that I'm running on the back. And then on the front, it's an 18 by 5 Forge Star. I think they call it a D5. They're Forge Stars on the front and welds on the back.
Nice.
But yeah, 18 by 5 on the front.
Yeah, that's man, it just, the look and stance of that car, it looks like it wants to bite you.
It looks tough in that configuration. And then I get back from race week and I put the stock Hellcat wheels back on, and I was like, well, I love it, but I'm like, it just looks different after seeing it all week with the more muscle car kind of meanness to it.
Oh yeah. And how long did it take you? Because it took me probably, I would say 2 times of washing and scrubbing to get all the road grime and bugs. And of course, I had a little longer drive, I think, than you did. But boy, holy cow, there were some. I think I have every type of bug there was out there.
I think we were in Great Bend, Kansas, where you took that video around the car, and I just washed it, which it didn't get anywhere near all the bugs off of it. And then you get home and you just got to, I probably 3 or 4 times of washing it over and over again before you get all those bugs off. And some of those bugs are gnarly. I think I got some paint chips, but you're going to have that when you're driving your car.
Well, that's the thing. And people are, they ask me all the time. They're like, well, you know, you really are going to drive it that far, or you're going to do? And I'm like, I bought the car for me. I didn't buy it for the next guy. I'm going to drive the hell out of it. Whatever's left over when I'm done, that's what you get. I'm not playing around with it.
Yes,
well,
sir.
cool,
Drive
man.
it like you stole it.
Oh, that's exactly what we do, man. Hey, I appreciate your time, man. We'll go ahead and let you go. We're running up close to our end time here anyway. I really appreciate it. One more time, if you could tell everybody, I know I got Instagram and YouTube down there, but if you can tell everybody where they can find you, what to look forward to, what's next for Cody Walker.
Yeah. Just as far as the song goes, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, you can buy it on iTunes, Apple Music, anywhere music is sold, you can download that song. And just keep an eye on the Facebook and Instagram for the next single that'll be coming out, and then eventually our EP that'll be released. And man, just thanks for the support. I really appreciate it. And I'm just my Instagram really is just about music, and I got a dog photo on there every once in a while and racing cars. That's about it. And we're just gonna keep doing what we're doing, and play live shows whenever we can, drag racing whenever we can. And thanks for the support. And we'll see you on down the road.
Yeah, definitely. And as you get dates of whether it's a song, whatever it is, please let me know, and I'll go ahead and make sure to help support you in your journey, man. We really appreciate it. Have yourself a great night, man. I thank you. Thank you.
Right, thanks. See y'all.
All right, everybody. Hey, I appreciate you guys joining the stream tonight. If there's anybody who would like to join this stream as a guest, please reach out to me, leave a comment in this video, or get a hold of me at Destroyer1320 on Facebook. And man, it'd be great to have you guys on, whoever would like to come on. I got videos coming up here soon of a whole bunch of different stuff. And if there's any sponsors out there who would like me to have products or would like to sponsor one of our episodes, please reach out to me. Destroyer1320 on Facebook. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate you. Have yourselves a great night.